I headed north to Stage 18 at CineSpace Chicago Film Studios, and behind those doors were the sets of all three Chicago shows, Med, Fire, and PD. The firehouse, as you see right there, the emergency room, and the familiar hangout, Molly's Bar. In fact, that's where I sat down with the cast, and one of the most interesting parts of our conversation, I thought, was about the culture behind the scenes. They're a close-knit group. So Shyhards are going to recognize where we are right now, but for those who may not be, what's the importance of this place right here?
Oh man, Molly's. It's been here since season one. I think it's our gathering place when we're outside of the firehouse. You know, just like in real life, you know, firefighters commune together outside of work. So being able to come to the place that feels like home to them, this is what this is for Firehouse 51, and happens to be owned by a couple of the firefighters, so you know they appreciate that as characters.
So what can fans expect this season? What should we look forward to?
Oh man, it's gonna be, I mean, the action is crazy. Like I know it's kind of a soundbite, but it's legit. Like there is so much going on. The stunt that just happened in this episode 3, like is one of the craziest things I've ever seen as far as action goes. So you can't miss it. And then, you know, as far as like Carver goes, I think there's a lot of growth that's going to happen this year. I think we're going to see a little regression in certain aspects as far as where he goes with his personal life, and also some growth to be had coming out of that, which is, you know, as an actor, I can't wait.
What's it like to be a part of this cast? It seems on the outside, and maybe this is just acting, it seems on the outside that you have a special bond. You'll get along.
Yeah, I think actors can make it look like that, but it's legit on this show. Yeah. Like we really care about each other. Like we spend our off time with each other. So like as much as like firefighters do this here in Molly's, we do it as a cast. It's no joke. Like, you know, and Chief Bowden, someone who we will miss dearly, was one of the first people. When I walked on the set, Eamon and Miranda were the first people to say, hey, whenever you need anything, now that you're here, we're the people you call. And they never faltered. They were always there. They always have been.
How do you draw on real life experience to play Carver?
I mean, I don't know that I've had a ton of real life experience. There's definitely, you know, I grew up in a very small town, like 130 people, 136 people when I was there. And there are times where there was a time where I came upon an accident and had to help people. So like that little taste is something that I pull on. You know, and my town had a volunteer fire department. My dad was on it, so I got to go on calls with him. So as far as my own real life, there's pieces of it there, that I definitely can pull from. And then just listening. I mean, we have so many firefighters on our set, from FSOs to, you know, Tony, for instance, to Steve Chikarodis, who was a huge inspiration for so many firefighters here in Chicago, that you get to listen to real life stories. So the gravity of what they have to deal with, the reality of saving a life when someone is incapacitated is it's not lost on any of us. And I think that real life experience, just being willing to listen, is what helps me the most.
What's it like to walk onto this set every day?
Honestly, I'm a kid in a candy store. Like it's great. They're long days. They're hard days physically. As an actor, like being on this show is physically demanding. You know, you're wearing a real SCBA. You know, it's 23 pounds. So you got that. You got bunker gear. So being able to like jump up and down the rigs, you know, for 12 to 15 hours a day, sometimes it's demanding. But I wouldn't change it for anything. Like this is a great group of people, as we've said, and this show is kind of a dream. I get to deal with a character who's complex, who has trauma, who's dealing with that trauma, trying to get out of it, and at the same time be one of the more like unique heroes in our society. These are people that really all they're doing is going and risking their life. And getting to do that, portray that with honesty is exciting.
This is how many seasons for you on Chicago Med?
We're starting our 10th season.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
What is it about this role and this show that you enjoy so much?
You know, I love coming to work because we have this sensational, you know, Chicago-based crew, and I, you know, my fellow cast members, you know, we just have a great work environment. But I also, you know, I love telling these The psych ED stories, they tend to be just a little bit more complex because, there's no X-ray for a nervous breakdown, right? There's no blood test for, schizophrenia, right? And so it's often like there's a bit of a sort of medical mystery aspect to it. And then even if Dr. Charles figures out what's going on, the ideal jumping off point for any sort of mental health treatment, course of treatment, is that the person sort of owns it and recognizes it instead of being told, this is what's going on with you, fix it. That's just a crucial. So once there's the figuring it out, and then there's the trying to get the person to, own it, and then so they actually ask you for help instead of think that you're, foisting it on them.
I heard that your mother worked in the mental health arena.
Yeah, she was a psychiatric social worker.
Did that help prepare you for this role?
It totally did, in just at the very least, in the sense of just thinking that growing up thinking that mental health support was a totally normal, healthy thing, and that anybody. I was very naive and grew up thinking that anybody who needed mental health support would just ask for it, and that's just not the case at all, unfortunately. For understandable reasons, it can be a really scary topic, and it's also remains mysterious to a lot of people, and so I also really love being part of a show that tells stories every week that destigmatize mental health issues, and let people know that they're treatable.
Absolutely. What are you most looking forward to about this season?
I'm looking for that we have a character from the past coming back. That's her out there.
She's on her way.
She's on her way. No. We have a character from the past coming back, and I'm really looking forward to that. And it's so there's that, and what else? I don't know.
That's okay. You're leaving us with the teaser.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good teaser.
Jesse, what are you most excited about this upcoming season?
I'm excited about the storylines. I feel like they're so intricate and nuanced, and they're so fun, but also really dramatic.
So this is your fourth season?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And how has your character developed, would you say, in these seasons?
Oh, wow, she's grown so much. I started out as a heroin-addicted gynecologist, so you could imagine, the growth that can happen. So we've dealt with substance abuse and being in recovery, and for my character a lot, we've dealt with dealing with the stigma and not just seeing somebody fighting to succeed, to really kind of see somebody that is doing it and that is thriving in life as opposed to just surviving. So we've had a lot of growth for my character, and then of course with women's health and all the different storylines we get to go through, it's a journey.
Let's talk about behind the scenes. Can you give us an idea of what that vibe is like?
Oh my God, people always say, it's such a family. It is. We're such a family. Everybody's so happy to be there. It's one of the best environments I've ever been on in terms of people showing up, doing their job, doing it the best that they can, but also not taking themselves too seriously. So we have a lot of fun within the drama.
And finally, you are also a singer-songwriter, I understand.
I am.
Do you have a favorite? Or
Ooh, I feel like the acting is that thing that's a little bit more out there in the world, and the singing is more kind of for me. Someone once shared with me, they're like, maybe the aspect of singing and writing is so personable, but also such a beautiful thing, because with acting you get to do it, but for us it then goes to the editor. You wait for it to be on TV. If it's never there, somebody doesn't see your work. Where with a song you get to write it and you're like, oh, there we go, I just did that.
Do you think that'll ever be written into a storyline on the show?
You know what? They know that it's something that I do and that I love and that I'm capable of, so I know that they're very aware, and you never know how it can creep its way into an episode.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Brand new season. What are you looking forward to most?
I think I'm looking forward to seeing how we integrate all the new characters. There's been a big change of, I think, cast and environment, and it's going to be really fun to see how they're integrated into the rest of the family.
How has your character developed, would you say?
In a lot of ways. I think she has experienced a lot of heartbreak, and now I think she's experienced a lot of responsibility coming into this role as PIC. She was under Brett for a long time and has so much respect and admiration for her. But I think it's just going to be a new challenge figuring out how to be the kind of empathetic but also rule-abiding leader that she wants to be for Novak.
So, do you ever walk through here and just think about the fact that you're in this job, you're playing this role, kind of a pinch me moment?
Absolutely. This is such a small, weird moment, but yesterday, or I don't know what day it was, maybe 3 days ago, I had like a little toiletry bag on set that they gave me for a prop, and inside of it, it had like a hair tie that was like the exact hair tie I used in high school. And I had like a weird moment where I got really emotional and started to cry a little bit by myself because I was like, oh my God, if high school me could just transport here and realize that this is her job, she would not believe a single second of it. So it was very surreal. It makes me feel that much more grateful every day.
Behind the scenes, what's the vibe?
It's hilarious. I don't think anyone can take anything seriously. Not always true, but everyone is hilarious and talented and fun and connective and kind. It's just a really warm, humble set.
Has it always been that way?
I think so. I think that is the culture of Chicago Fire, and it's very unique on a television set to have people who are just so human and so welcoming and just so deeply friendly, cast and crew alike.
Why do you think that is?
I think they just selected a bunch of incredible original people. Like Pilot, they cast so many great, good-hearted folks. And since then, they've just carried on this expectation that we must all remain within that same energy.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. What's one thing that the audience may be surprised to learn about you?
Oh, I think one thing the audience may be surprised by, I come from a very different background. I have 2 classical music parents, and I grew up in a really like cute, dorky classical music home. And I think it's what gave me the root for like a love of acting, but it's definitely not anywhere close to firefighting or paramedics.
You studied musical theater.
I did,
You play the cello.
kind of.
Oh, but you play the cello.
I'm very rusty, Dustin.
But there are some other folks here who also play.
Yes.
Right?
Everyone is disgustingly talented. Yes.
I mean, you form a band? I mean, hang out on the weekend? And
It has been talked about. We've had like jams and little powwows, and it's really cute. I mean, Miranda loves the cello, has a great voice. Daniel just had an EP come out. Christian is a wonderful guitarist. So is Jake, also both vocalists. Caro is a vocalist, play the ukulele. Jesse, banjo. Like, truly, every single person has some sort of talent that you wouldn't expect from them.
We'll wait for the album.
Okay. Okay.
You are not new to Chicago. You have a history with Chicago.
Yeah, I go way back. In fact, my father was born here. My brothers lived here all the time, but I went to Northwestern as a teenager, and Chicago just keeps calling me back. If it's my best friend's wedding or Shameless, and now I'm here with Chicago Fire, so couldn't be happier.
You've done, obviously, a number of projects, a lot of them independent films. What drew you to this particular show, this particular role?
Well, I'd been kind of dancing around network television for a number of years now, and it's just irresistible when it came at me this way. I haven't had a regular lead role on a series for a long time, and not a successful one. So let me be honest with you, joining an already running hit show is a terrific feeling. I don't have to really build the boat. I might just need to steer it a little bit here and there as the chief. But it's amazing to join a full-fledged production up and running. And a lot of times on an indie film, you're kind of making it up as you go along, and then before you know it, those couple weeks are over, and you hope you did okay. This proof's in the pudding. People love the show, and they make a great one, so I'm thrilled to be here.
So tell us about Chief Pascal.
Well, Chief Pascal's pretty tough, I think. He comes in pretty hard edged, not trying to make any friends or anything in the firehouse. I think we're starting to feel that happening a little bit, which is nice. He's got a tumultuous relationship with his wife that he's followed her to Chicago, so some of that is yet to develop in the storyline. But so far for me, the assignment's been to just to put myself right in the mix in the firehouse. So some of our storylines are carrying over from season 12. I know that, but I'm not that familiar with those storylines. And yet I don't need to be, because I'm the new guy who's piecing together who works best with whom and how all those interrelationships play in the firehouse. So, as I'm doing that as an actor, seeing the characters and the actors interplay, Pascal's doing the same thing.
Tell us about the season premiere. I hear it's pretty eventful.
Well, I think everyone here felt like they did a bang-up job, meaning I think they're upping their game to some extent here, season 13. If nothing else, the fire incident in episode 1 this year is as big as they've done. It's a smoke shop that goes up in flames, and then they have canister gas in there, so those start exploding. When 51 arrives, the special effects crew on this show is so impressive. So they got smoke pots everywhere, debris falling from cranes, right? They have fireworks exploding out of the front door of the building. And then they say, okay, Dermot, just go ahead, walk on in there. So I did. And that's how it runs. And so you'll see an extremely full-fledged explosion fire in episode 1, and you'll see the new chief walk right in fearless. So that's how they set up Pascal right from the start. He's not pulling any punches, and he's on the ground, hands-on kind of chief. So we'll see how that develops.
Walking in fearless. This must give you a whole new level of appreciation for firefighters.
It sure does for firefighters, for real, in a way I almost can't describe. I'm seeing actors go to their limit to shoot a day's worth of filming in the gear. And then you extrapolate that, what it must actually really be like is beyond imagining. How difficult one short fire must be. Open my eyes wide. But in terms of working with a crew that knows what they're doing, I mentioned, literally they're having me walk right in there, and I feel 100% safe because of the way it's designed and it's choreographed and it's timed out. There's so many people in that safety chain that I know, even though it feels it, there's 100% nothing going on that track. They're careful where I'm going and that I don't go in another area that's less safe. But amazing feeling to be among experts that way.
We look forward to watching.
Oh, you're going to love it, man. Thank you, Dustin. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I've watched you on the show, done some homework on your background, and I learned not all that long ago, you were a kid in Guatemala playing soccer. How did you get from there to here?
Oh my God, I think soccer was like my first passion, and it was something that really saved my life in the most literal way. There was so much trauma at home, addiction, violence all around me too. So many things happened that I just held on to that. I was like, this is my way out. And I went to Italy. I played soccer in Italy. I was recruited at 11 years old. And then I think that was the moment that I was like, okay, if I focus on something, I can make it. It was really naive and matter of fact for me. There was no rationality. So ever since a very young age, I've always decided, and then I do, So for me, I hope it doesn't sound in an arrogant way. I don't mean it that way, but I just knew that when I got on a plane to LA that I was gonna be an actor. There was no plan B. There was no doubt. I mean, there was moments of doubt, but there was an inner knowing that I just knew that I had a lot to say.
And it was your mother who suggested it, just out of the blue?
Yeah, we were in a red light renewing my license, and I was going through a hard time, and she's always been super supportive of me, and she just said it. She was like, just be an actor, like, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like, she just like, because we used to watch that. I grew up with a single mother, and we used to watch romantic comedies. She was like, yeah, you just do it, and in Guatemala, having a big dream would be like going to Real Madrid and playing soccer with the great, teams. So Hollywood isn't even that it's a big dream. It just doesn't exist. You don't think about it. It's a different dimension. You think that movies just appear in this like box. Like, at least at that time, I thought that. So I never thought that there's like a way to become an actor. And when she just said that, it just it just sparked like, oh, you can be an actor. And she was like, yeah, you go to Hollywood. She said, like, Brad Pitt, he packed his bags 2 credits shy of college and went to Hollywood. So just do that.
So you hopped the plane and headed.
I took a one-way ticket and I did it. I worked at Chipotle when I got there. I worked at different smoothie shops. I also taught personal training, just trying to like pay rent, and do the thing. But I was excited about everything. I think that's what sometimes is missing, from what I see. I was just so naive that there was no rationality in my thinking. It was just like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna do that.
And you did it.
And I did it.
You made it.
Yeah.
So tell me, what does it mean to have made it, to be in this seat, to be on this show?
Well, I'm filled with gratitude, and there's always these moments of like, oh my God, like it never gets old for me, I'm always so happy to be here. I truly am. But also, with time, I learned that this is a craft, and that I have it in me to express things about my life, and that I'm able to use my voice. So there came a lot of also just other aspects of me that were built in the character of this, journey.
Final question.
Yeah.
What can we look forward to this season?
This season, adrenaline, like action, excitement, in intense sense of my character. He is, I think, I haven't done any of my episodes yet, but I read my first one, and I think there's going to be a new side of him where he has more experience and a little more weight, on himself and on his on who he is as a person. I'm sure a lot of challenges because I've heard some rumors, but I can't go into them.
Right, you're leaving us with a teaser there. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you so much.
Really. What are you most looking forward to this season?
I'm most looking forward to, personally, selfishly, Ritter's further development as a firefighter. I think we're gonna see him rise to the occasion a bit more than we have in maybe the last couple seasons. He's gonna be in the center of some action, and I'm really looking forward to that.
How has he evolved, would you say? This is season number 7. Is he the same person he was when you started?
Not at all. I mean, the real stark difference, that I find and that I think about a lot is his introduction is and it makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? He's new. This is his first big fire, whatever, and he has that freeze up moment where he kind of locks up in the face of danger. Now he's a smoke eater, man. He dives right in. He could take a fireball to the face or whatever have you, and get right back up and want to go into the fire to save lives or whatever he has to do. Look out for his teammates as well. And I think that is, it's really powerful to get to embody that, and to get to see that for him.
Any similarities between your character and Daniel Kyrie?
In regards to fire, absolutely not.
As a person, you wouldn't run into a burning building?
Well, I think I'm one of the ones that would be as far away from it as I can possibly be. I'll be minding my own business, staying in my lane. You know what I'm saying? But no, I think that there's definitely some overlap between us. Kind of in a lot of ways, but also no, because he's a little more I think extroverted than I tend to be. Some of my castmates, I'm sure, will tell you if you ask. But yeah, he's just a real hard on the sleeve kind of man, and I'm kind of not really that way. I'm a little more what's going on with you? A little suspicious, investigating, seeing what's up. But yeah, there are some similarities between us, I think.
So you grew up here in Chicago.
Yeah.
What's it like being back?
So I never left.
Still here.
I never left. So it's been a really great journey for me. Growing up here, going through my acting career here on stage specifically, and then making the jump over to television. I mean, it's been really awesome. I get to do what I love in a hometown that I know really well. You know, my support system's here, so it's awesome.
Final question: what's it like working with Dermot?
Working with Dermot is really, really fun. We've had a couple scenes together. I get to do more on the next script, which I'm very, very excited about. But I mean, yeah, he's a really great guy, and I think Shy Hards will see this as well, a real asset to the show. So I'm very excited to be working with him.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
New character, new role. Dr. Frost, tell us about him.
Dr. Frost, yes, he is the new member of the pediatrics team at Gaffney. He's coming over from Jackson Monroe Hospital, which is closing its doors. He's coming into Gaffney with a patient needing an MRI and kind of charms his way through the door and I guess inevitably sets up shop as his hospital is closing the doors. But he's also a secret child star that he's trying to kind of bury that side of him and doesn't want people to find out. Inevitably it does. So there's a whole journey to be had with that.
What drew you to this?
I really enjoyed there's like the whole charm, assault, whatever aspect of Frost is just fun to play as an actor, but it really masking like a very big heart, someone that gave up a, stardom or whatever to help children and help sick kids was just kind of inspiring to me as a storyline. I don't think that's something you often hear or ever hear. So I was like, wow, it's very original in my mind. And I think what drew me more is my first day, the welcome I received from the entire cast, the happiness I saw on people's faces for being back to work, especially 10 seasons in. That's rare sometimes. I was like, this is obviously a wonderful place.
All right, so you're an LA guy. Read you spent some time in Florida growing up. Is that right?
Did your research, man.
I
Wow.
did. So what is life like as a Midwesterner?
I don't know, man. I'm figuring it out. I'm new. I hear the winters are going to be bad, so
You got a coat yet?
I don't know. Your eyes lit up when you said that because I don't. Yeah, no, I don't yet, but I'm going to find one.
So we're coming on a new season. This, if I'm correct, is going to be your first full season with the show. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
What are
Yep.
you looking forward to most?
I think just diving into who Ripley is. I think we were teased with who he was last season, and little sprinklings of his backstory. I'm really hopeful that we're going to dive right in there this season and really explore that and what makes him tick.
Can you tell us a little bit about what we can expect? Maybe a little bit of a preview?
Sure. It's going to be pretty tumultuous for Ripley. I don't know about the whole season, but certainly, the majority of it. I think he's going to have to maybe go through the fire to come out the other side, hopefully come out the other side a better person. But I think he's going to be forced to face his childhood and who he was, and is he still the same person? Has he fully healed his childhood wounds?
A pretty exciting season premiere, right?
Yeah, super exciting.
Yeah, what's that going to be about?
Look, it's got a little bit of everything. We have two new characters coming in, and they bring their own uniqueness and this awesome dynamic to the show, which I think fans are really going to love. Apart from that, it's a big episode. We have a big boat crash, lots of patients coming in. Another local hospital closes down, so we got to take their patients on. Ripley has to kind of rein in his emotions at times. He has his his feathers ruffled by multiple characters. I think that's about it.
Action-packed.
Action-packed, yeah.
Finally, what is the vibe among the cast behind the scenes when the cameras aren't rolling?
The vibe's amazing. And I think I have to say that this season in particular is pretty special. It feels feels really fresh. I feel like everyone's buzzing this season. So I guess everyone had a really wonderful hiatus. But yeah, I think everyone's really excited to be here and to launch this season as well as we can.